She is known for her understanding and for sharing all the knowledge that she has received, that she believes in passing it out to others. She is the Executive Director of the Institute for Culturally Restorative Practices, Estelle Simard.
As a Medewan woman, I feel completely honored to be welcomed to your territory. The teachings that I know is that this is where our life begins, Manitoulin Island. You guys are a powerful people. You're talked about in our legends. You're talked about in our stories. You're talked about in our lodges.
It's important for us to have ongoing events like this in order for the community to be engaged, as well as for ongoing learning for the professionals that work in the community as well.
The cultural attachment theory seeks to secure the knowledge of family, extended family, community, and nation. And not only that, but how we relate to each other and the world. One of the main drivers that I want to get home is how can we bring like our cultural structures into our organizational development. And the purpose of doing that is to make better outcomes for our children who are accessing our services. When a child, whatever age, comes through your doors and they're thirsting for that knowledge, what do you do for them in your organization to help them understand who they are as an Anishinaabe?
The importance of identifying cultural standards within an organization helps guide to build what's needed for our people. And working at Kanuiski, it's mostly focusing on the child and the family unit, and the use and practice of cultural standards, our traditions, everything that makes us Anishinaabe will make us more unique in comparison to mainstream children's aid society.
When I originally started doing this work, it really started off as looking at attachment theory. It's one of the main drivers for child welfare. It's how child welfare keeps kids in care. So my rationale for starting to attempt it was to lay a foundation for us as Indigenous people, to lay an academic foundation, because that's the only way government likes it. Government says it's got to be proven in the school of academia.
I was impressed. It was good to really look at what she's exploring, because I have heard of the reactive cultural attachment disorder, which I think many of our people have gone through, the ones who've been taken away. So to look at this and look at how can we really use our culture to make us whole again, whole within terms of our own uniqueness as Indigenous people, and specifically as Anishinaabe people.
Cultural attachment theory is all about connecting to that spirit, to that knowledge of who you are.
I like the part where she went into the medicine wheel and then broke down the components of the culture, where it's arts, dance, music, so, and the socialization aspect of it.
Clothing, history, social status, social group interactions, values, language and communication patterns, family, healing beliefs and practices, religion. Irregardless of what your values or vision statements say within your organization, there's any one of these activities that you can bring in for those kids. My auntie, she gets money every year to bring in regalia making. Number of different things that you can do there.
Some of the things I've learned from today, I'm going to take back to my community as I work with children in an after-school recreation program. So this just kind of reinforces what I can be doing for the children of our community in terms of, positive cultural identity. So I got some really good ideas, and I'm inspired to keep on doing the work I do for our Benojisak.
My main purpose to being here, the importance of learning where we've come from, why we are the way we are, what we have to do to fix and amend those ways, and then to carry on for future healthier generations.
If you don't know your language, there's a good chance that you might have some impacts of colonialism. If you had to go to residential school, or your parents did, there's a good chance that you might have some impacts of colonialism. If you're a card-carrying bona fide Anishinaabe as defined by the Indian Act, and you have a number. Anytime we're looking at development, spiritual development, identity development, we need to understand that colonialism exists in all of it.
I can tell you I am a product of colonization, but I am also determined to be a product of decolonization, cultural revitalization. I'm so grateful that we can speak about colonization and the impacts it had on our people, because my young mind can now comprehend these things, these behaviors as we call them. You know, I can identify them.
Colonization wants to divide us. It wants to divide me from you, you from her, her from him, him from... Why do I want to divide you? Because when you're together, you're powerful. I could destroy you one by one. Colonization is meant to divide you as a people and say, the way you practice your spirit isn't good enough.
Estelle's a wonderful speaker, and she's got a very matter-of-fact way of speaking that is really endearing and also very easy to understand. It feels like sometimes like you're the only person in the room and she's speaking directly to you.
The measure of your Anishinaabe-ness is in your spirit. As Tibezanekwet Kanu once said, they can never take away your spirit. Once you know those teachings, give some elder tobacco and ask, where do we come from as Anishinaabe? I guarantee when you listen and you hear that story, you'll cry. Because it's so beautiful.
I actually came out to learn about cultural attachment, and because I know nothing about it, so it was quite interesting. I learned a lot, and the comedian was awesome too. At the end of the day, he really broke things up on such a serious topic.
And now let's have an entourage behind him, a couple other guys coming.
Ron's very funny. I mean, he did a really great job of, keeping it on track today, and, he's absolutely hilarious.
I hit the change box really hard in the chest, and I looked over him, he said, $1. He says, I know that, just wait, I'm trying to get the money fell on the ground, I tried to pick money up, he stepped on it again, I took off.
What Estelle spoke about today is something that I really believe in. I've always believed in holistic healing, and so cultural attachment theory makes a lot of sense to me. I think in my 25 years in social work, I've tried to live by that, by working with people at that level, and making all those different connections with individuals as much as possible, especially for children that are maybe that have been in foster care or have been sort of taken away from their community and from their home environment. So I've been really supportive of this kind of work.
There's an elder, his name is Lawrence Henry, and he says, we don't want to give that garbage that we've been carrying around, we don't want to give that to our kids. And we don't. We want to keep it pure. Loss of stability, loss of identity. All of these things exist. These are a direct result of colonization. Everything we've experienced as a people. Colonization is everything.
It's an affirmation, more or less, in validation as to why we were treated the way we were. And still to this day, validating again why we treat each other the way we do. So that's what I've learned.
What does the government want? They want good, tax-paying citizens. Anishinaabe wants you to know your purpose so that you can help and be a part of.
The share of her information here today is most valuable, and I'm very happy that she came to our area here in Manitoulin to share her knowledge with us.